For thousands of years, whispers of Thoth's wisdom have slipped through the cracks of history, echoes from the emerald tablets, fragments of hermetic teaching, scattered hints in sacred texts. But the true message has never been spoken plainly, and perhaps for good reason. Because once you hear it, you can't unhear it. It doesn't just change the way you think about manifestation, it changes the way you see your entire life. Here's the warning. Much of what you've been told about creating your reality is incomplete, even misleading. You've been taught to struggle, to push, to chase your dreams like they're running away from you. But what if that's backwards? What if the very effort you've been pouring out is the reason those dreams keep slipping further away? In this journey, we're going to uncover 3 revelations. Each one is simple, yet powerful enough to turn your understanding inside out. By the end, you may realize that the universe has been listening all along, not to the words you've spoken, but to the silent vibration you've carried. And I want you to walk with me as more than a listener. I want you to be part of a living field of resonance. So as you watch, add your voice to the chorus. Type the words that unlock the truth. My vibration builds my reality. This isn't just a comment, it's a declaration, a signal we send together. Because this isn't just another video, it's an initiation. And once you step through, the old story ends, and a new one begins. You've probably been told all your life that the universe responds to your words, to the prayers you speak, or the affirmations you repeat 100 times a day. But here's the awakening truth. The universe doesn't hear what you say. It hears what you are. It listens, moment by moment, to the silent vibration that never stops radiating from your inner world. Think about it. A person can walk around all day saying, "I am wealthy, I am abundant," but if every night they fall asleep worrying about bills, feeling fear in their chest, that fear is the real broadcast. That vibration of scarcity is the signal that goes out 24 hours a day, like a radio station you can't switch off. And the universe, impartial and exact, simply sends back more of what that signal carries. This is not New Age poetry. It's one of the oldest teachings hidden in the hermetic principle of vibration, passed down from Thoth himself. Nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. Even the stillest stone is alive with frequency. And if matter vibrates, how much more does the human mind? Every thought and every emotion sets off a wave. Together they create the atmosphere that surrounds you, the climate of your reality. Modern science confirms what the ancients declared. Neuroscience and physics tell us that the brain and heart emit measurable electromagnetic fields. A feeling of fear creates one kind of pattern. A state of gratitude creates another. Each state radiates beyond the body, like ripples on a lake that never ends. And those ripples, invisible but undeniable, shape how the world mirrors back to you. This is why so many people try the law of attraction and walk away disappointed. They repeat the right words, but the signal underneath never changes. They're still vibrating worry, still vibrating doubt, still vibrating unworthiness. And so life keeps echoing those hidden frequencies, no matter what their lips declare. The key, then, is not in saying more, not in working harder, but in aligning the silent broadcast. Or, as many who have discovered this secret declare in unison, the key is in my vibration. It's not just a catchy phrase. It's the compass that points to the heart of reality. So pause for a moment. Imagine yourself as both transmitter and receiver, sending out a frequency every second and receiving back events, people, and circumstances tuned to that same station. If that's true, and every ancient text and modern study suggests it is, then the question becomes unavoidable. What vibration have you really been sending out? Because the universe isn't debating your words. It isn't fooled by surface appearances. It listens only to the hum beneath your skin, the frequency behind your smile, the silent current of your soul. And once you realize that, the door opens to the next revelation. That feeling is the true prayer. We tend to think of prayer as words we speak out loud, or affirmations we repeat in the mirror. But the deeper truth, the one both ancient mystics and modern psychology agree on, is that your real prayer isn't spoken, it's felt. Every emotion you carry is a signal sent out into the universe, shaping reality more powerfully than any phrase you could ever say. When you feel fear, that fear becomes a command. When you feel gratitude, that gratitude becomes a seed of abundance. The subconscious doesn't sort through the logic of your words, it responds to the energy behind them. Napoleon Hill once wrote that we become what we think about most, but more than that, we become what we feel most deeply. Joseph Murphy explained it as the law of the subconscious mind. Whatever is impressed upon it, with emotion and repetition, it accepts as truth and works tirelessly to manifest. And here's where compassion enters this story. Many of the vibrations you're carrying weren't chosen by you at all. They were borrowed from parents, teachers, neighbors, the whole cultures that imprinted beliefs onto your subconscious before you were even old enough to argue. Between birth and about age 7, your brain lived mostly in a theta state, open and suggestible, like fertile soil that accepts any seed. If the voices around you spoke fear, shame, or scarcity, those seeds became your foundation. This isn't your fault, and it's why so many people struggle. They work hard, they speak the affirmations, they try to stay positive, yet underneath those efforts runs an old vibration, an inherited prayer they never meant to say. That's why the work of reprogramming isn't about guilt or blame. It's about compassion for the child you once were, who didn't choose those frequencies but absorbed them anyway. So how do you change it? The first step is reparenting your inner child. That means speaking now the words you needed to hear back then. Telling yourself, you are worthy, you are safe, you are enough. Not once, not twice, but with the same repetition that first planted the limiting beliefs. You're not pretending you're rewiring. Each gentle declaration is a new seed, replacing the weeds. The second practice is micro-gratitude. If you can't yet feel grateful for the house you want, or the bank balance you dream of, start with what's undeniable: a single breath, a sip of clean water, a kind glance from a stranger. These tiny acknowledgements shift the subconscious in subtle but profound ways, proving to it that abundance is already present. Gratitude, even for something small, is the vibration of abundance in its purest form. And here's the key: the subconscious can't tell the difference between what's vividly imagined and what's physically real. When you feel the gratitude, when you let it move through your body, the subconscious takes that as fact. It starts to reorganize your thoughts, your choices, and even the way people respond to you. This is the reprogramming in action. So if feeling is the true prayer, then every day you are already praying. The question is, what are you praying for? Fear or faith? Scarcity or gratitude? Old inherited scripts or new chosen ones? You don't need to fight for answers. You need to feel the answer now, with compassion for where you've been and with intention for where you're going. Because the universe is listening, not to the words on your lips, but to the vibration in your heart. Every morning, when you open your eyes, you step into a mirror. The world you see around you, your relationships, your bank account, even the state of your own home isn't random. It's a reflection, a faithful echo of the vibration you've been carrying. This is the Hermetic law of correspondence. As within, so without. As above, so below. Life doesn't happen to you, it happens through you. Think about debt. On the surface, it looks like a financial issue, but underneath, it's often the echo of a vibration of scarcity. A person may hustle every day, but if deep down they vibrate fear of never having enough, that fear writes itself into their circumstances like ink on paper. Or take loneliness. It may feel like bad luck, as if people simply never stay, but at its core, loneliness often mirrors an old vibration of unworthiness, a silent signal that says, I don't deserve love. And the world, impartial as always, simply reflects that signal back. You don't have to look far for proof. Walk into a cluttered room and notice how your mind reacts. Disorder in your space creates disorder in your thoughts. That's the mirror. A chaotic outer world isn't just inconvenient. It's a direct reflection of an inner state of confusion or neglect. Clean that same room, and suddenly, your mind breathes easier. The inner and the outer are tied together in a constant feedback loop. This is not just mystical language. The Bible in Galatians says it plainly. Whatever a man sows, that he will also reap. We usually interpret that as actions. But the deeper truth is that we sow with our thoughts, our emotions, our states of being. Every feeling is a seed, and life is the harvest. Sow worry, reap more reasons to worry. Sow gratitude, reap peace. Sow self-worth, reap relationships that honor you. And here's the part that can sting. Your life right now, in all its details, is the harvest of yesterday's vibrations, not as punishment, but as proof. The mirror of reality is precise. It doesn't lie. It shows you exactly what you've been broadcasting, whether you were conscious of it or not. But this realization, as sobering as it may feel, is also liberating. Because if what you see today is the result of past vibration, then what you choose to vibrate right now is shaping tomorrow. The mirror doesn't lock you in place. It gives you feedback. It shows you where you've been, so you can decide where to go. So look around. What does your world reflect? Scarcity or abundance? Chaos or peace? Self-doubt or quiet confidence? The mirror is not your enemy. It's the most honest teacher you'll ever have. And once you begin to understand its language, you realize you're not just staring at a reflection. You're staring at the blueprint of your own power. There comes a moment in every journey when the hardest truth arrives, and it doesn't whisper, it strikes like lightning. That truth is this: you created the life you're living right now. Not fate, not chance, not some hidden enemy working against you. For most people, that realization feels unbearable. It's easier to blame the economy, a cruel boss, or the wounds of childhood. It's easier to say life has been unfair, and in many ways, it has. But here's the paradox. As long as you point the finger outward, you hand away your own power. You remain a victim of circumstances instead of the author of change. But when you pause, when you finally accept that the vibration you carried brought you here, something remarkable happens. Blame dissolves, and in its place, freedom is born. Because if your vibration created this reality, then your vibration can create another. You are not locked in a prison. You are holding the keys. Picture a boat drifting without a captain. Waves. Toss it wherever the wind blows. Sometimes calm, sometimes violent, never steady. That's the life of a person who hasn't yet owned their role in shaping reality. They drift, but now imagine the same person taking the helm, gripping the wheel, and charting a new course. The storms don't vanish, but the boat has direction, purpose, and a destination. That's what happens when you step out of victimhood and into mastery. This is what the ancient alchemists knew. Real alchemy wasn't about turning lead into gold in a laboratory. It was about turning confusion into clarity, fear into courage, despair into hope. And in that sense, you are already an alchemist. Every time you shift your state of being, you are transmuting the raw material of your inner world into something new. So hear this clearly. You are the true alchemist of existence. The moment you claim authorship of your life, you reclaim the power to rewrite it. That's not a burden, it's liberation. You no longer wait for life to hand you better cards. You learn to play the cards differently. You choose new thoughts, new emotions, new vibrations, and the universe, faithful as ever, reflects them back. The victim asks, "Why is this happening to me?" The alchemist asks, "What vibration within me is being mirrored here, and how can I change it?" That shift in question is the turning point. Because when you stop drifting and start steering, you stop being at the mercy of the storm and start becoming the force that commands it. And that's the invitation in front of you right now, to step off the stage of victimhood and onto the throne of creation, to accept that your past vibration made today, but your present vibration is already shaping tomorrow. The wheel is in your hands. Where will you steer next? One of the greatest secrets hidden in plain sight is this: if you want to manifest, you must learn to live as if it's already done. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. The ancient teachers, the mystics, even the words of Jesus himself point to the same truth. Believe you have received, and it will be yours. Faith doesn't wait for evidence. Faith walks ahead of proof. But here's where most people stumble. They confuse pretending with embodying. Pretending is standing in front of a mirror saying, "I'm abundant," while your body is still clenched with worry. Pretending is pasting words on top of fear. It's acting on the surface, while the vibration underneath remains unchanged. And the universe, ever precise, responds to the vibration, not the mask. Embodying, though that's a different reality. To embody means to let the desired state move into your nervous system, your choices, your self-talk. It means if you're embodying abundance, your shoulders drop instead of hunching in fear. Your breath slows, your tone softens, your decision reflects confidence. You don't just say you are abundant, you carry yourself as though abundance has already taken root in your being. This is subtle but life-changing, because when you embody, your subconscious doesn't argue. It receives the signal as truth and begins reprogramming your entire inner landscape to match it. Micro-decisions shift without struggle. You order food without guilt. You stop rehearsing conversations of lack. You begin, quietly but unmistakably, to live in the end state. So how do you know if you're really embodying and not just pretending? There are checkpoints. First, you feel a sense of calm, even though nothing outside has changed yet. The old panic doesn't rise up with every bill or every silence from someone you love. Second, synchronicities begin to appear, small but undeniable signs, as if reality is winking back at you. A chance meeting, an unexpected opportunity, a door cracking open where before there was only a wall. And third, your self-talk softens. You no longer bully yourself with words of scarcity. Instead, your inner voice begins to sound like an ally, speaking in alignment with the life you're choosing. When these signs show up, you'll know you've crossed the threshold from pretending to embodying. And once you step into that state, reality bends in your direction. Not because you forced it, but because you've become a living match to the outcome. So ask yourself, what would it feel like if the thing you desire were already true? How would you sit? How would you walk into a room? How would you breathe before falling asleep? Practice that posture, that feeling, that rhythm, until it isn't practice anymore, until it becomes who you are. Because living in the end isn't about faking it. It's about embodying it so fully that the universe has no choice but to mirror it back. And when you can do that, hope stops being fragile. It becomes the atmosphere you breathe, the vibration you live in, and the reality you naturally create. There's a mistake almost everyone makes when they first step onto this path. They plant a seed of intention, and then, day after day, they dig it back up to check if it's growing. They look for signs, measure progress, second-guess themselves, and in doing so, they choke the very thing they hope to bring to life. This is why surrender matters. But don't confuse surrender with giving up. Surrender isn't throwing your hands in the air and saying, "Fine, I quit." Surrender is releasing the need to control every outcome. It's trusting that universal intelligence knows how to deliver the harvest far better than your anxious mind ever could. Picture a sailor gripping the oars in a storm, arms burning, trying to row against the tide. That's what forcing feels like: exhausting, frantic, hopeless. Now imagine the same sailor letting go of the oars, lifting the sail, and allowing the wind to carry the boat forward. The storm doesn't disappear, but suddenly, the journey is lighter, faster, guided. That's surrender. You let the divine wind fill your sails, and you stop wasting your life energy on battles. You were never meant to fight alone. Neuroscience gives us another layer of understanding. Anxiety creates static in the brain. It floods the nervous system with noise, making it almost impossible to hear intuition. The very guidance that could lead you is drowned out by the scramble of fear. But when you relax, when you breathe and release control, your nervous system quiets, and the subtle signals of intuition grow louder. You start to notice nudges, coincidences, gentle promptings that were invisible before. Surrender, then, is not passive. It's an active choice to trust. It's planting the seed, watering it with gratitude, and resisting the urge to dig it up. It's aligning with the belief that life is on your side, that unseen forces are already moving on your behalf. And when that trust settles into your bones, a remarkable thing happens. The desperation falls away. Relief replaces tension. Faith replaces fear. You've already experienced it in small ways. Those moments when you finally let go of a problem, only to have the solution arrive almost immediately. That's no accident. That's the universe responding to a clear, uncluttered vibration. So as you walk this path, remember, surrender is not weakness. It's wisdom. It's the courage to trust the process, to release the frantic rowing, and let the wind of the divine carry you. Because in the end, you're not meant to fight the current. You're meant to flow with it. And when you do, you'll find the journey lighter, the guidance clearer, and the destination closer than you ever imagined. Most people believe success is about doing more hours, more effort, more hustle. But here's the truth. No one told you. The universe doesn't reward quantity of action. It responds to the quality of vibration behind the action. The same gesture, the same phone call, the same email can either open doors or close them, depending on the energy you carry when you do it. Think of this. You sit down to write an email. If your chest is tight with fear of rejection, fear of failure, that vibration rides every word. And though the words look polite, the frequency is desperate. Most of the time, that email gets ignored. But if you breathe, align with faith, and let your words flow from confidence, the energy is different. The very same email, with the very same sentences, suddenly lands. It gets answered. It opens a door you couldn't have forced open. This is the mystery of aligned action. It's not about forcing, it's about flowing. It's the difference between draining yourself through frantic effort and allowing your energy to multiply results. The ancients would have called it working with the divine. Scripture in Romans says it bluntly: whatever is not from faith is sin. In other words, when action comes from fear, it misses the mark. When it comes from faith, it aligns with creation itself. So how do you step into aligned action? Begin with coherence. Take 60 seconds, just 1 minute before the meeting, before the phone call, before you press send. Close your eyes. Breathe slowly, evenly, until your heart and mind sink. Let the panic drop. Let the faith rise. In that minute, you shift your frequency, and from that state, whatever action you take will carry the vibration of clarity instead of chaos. Aligned action doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing the right thing at the right time, with the right energy. It means trusting the nudge of intuition instead of the push of fear. It means remembering that one seed planted in fertile soil produces more than 1,000 thrown on rocks. The world will tell you hustle harder. The universe whispers, align deeper, because one aligned action can move mountains that endless striving never will. And once you taste the difference, you'll never want to go back to forcing. You'll know in your bones that determination doesn't come from grinding harder. It comes from trusting the vibration you carry into every step. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine, really imagine, see the room around you filled with light. Hear the faint hum of a possibility, not yet real. I feel the texture of something that hasn't happened but already exists in the theater of your mind. That space, your imagination, isn't just daydreaming. It's the womb of reality itself, the laboratory where creation begins. The ancients knew this long before neuroscience could prove it. The Hermetic principle of mentalism states, all is mind. Everything you can touch, every invention you use, every house, every bridge, every work of art, each was first conceived as an image inside someone's imagination. Genesis describes the Creator speaking the world into existence. But even before the word came the vision, first the picture, then the manifestation. Modern science has given us a window into this hidden process. Cymatics experiments that use sound to move sand or water show us how vibration takes invisible energy and organizes it into shape, sometimes into patterns that look like sacred geometry. What we see with our eyes is simply vibration translated into form. If sound waves can sculpt matter, imagine what the vibration of thought and feeling is doing in the unseen layers of your own life. This is why imagination isn't childish. It's divine. It's not fantasy. It's blueprint. When you visualize with emotion, when you allow all your senses to participate, smelling the wood of the house you dream of, hearing the laughter of the partner you desire, feeling the weight of the abundance in your hands, your subconscious doesn't distinguish it from physical reality. It accepts it as truth, and once it accepts, it begins reorganizing your choices, your posture, your words, until your outer life mirrors the inner image. The challenge is that many people only imagine what they fear. They rehearse failure, rejection, scarcity. Their mental laboratory is busy, but it's filled with experiments that keep producing the same unwanted results. The invitation is to take back control of that laboratory, to stop leaving it to chance, to recognize imagination as your most powerful instrument of creation. So practice sensory visualization. Don't just see the car, or the house, or the healing. Hear it, feel it, smell it, taste it. Let your imagination become so vivid that your body responds as though it were happening now. That physiological response is the vibration, that vibration is the signal, and that signal is what the universe reflects. Imagination is not an escape, it's an initiation. It's the entry point where you stop being a passive observer of life and step into the role of creator. And when you understand this, wonder returns. Not the shallow wonder of entertainment, but the awe of realizing that the laboratory of the mind is the very place where worlds are born. There is a doorway you pass through every night, and most people don't even notice it. It's the fragile threshold between wakefulness and sleep. In those few minutes, the conscious mind loosens its grip, and the subconscious, the true engine of creation, stands wide open. This is the golden hour for reprogramming your reality. What you impress upon the mind here echoes into the night and shapes the day to come. Think about how many people fall asleep with worry on their lips. They replay arguments, calculate bills, scroll through headlines, and those final vibrations don't just vanish when their eyes close. They slide into the subconscious, like seeds planted in fertile soil. No wonder they wake up tired, anxious, already carrying the weight of yesterday. The ritual before sleep decides the tone of tomorrow. So how do you use this gateway with intention? Through two simple but powerful practices, visualization and affirmations. Begin by picturing what you desire, not as a dream for the future, but as a reality that already surrounds you. See yourself walking through the home you've longed for. Feel the comfort of financial freedom. Hear the laughter of healed relationships. The clearer you imagine, the stronger the imprint. Then, pair that image with affirmations that align with abundance. I am prosperous. Money flows to me with ease. Love and peace are my natural state. Whisper them slowly, gently, until the words merge with the feeling. The secret isn't just the words or the images. It's the combination of intention, image, and emotion. When those three align, a portal opens. Mind becomes matter. The subconscious receives the blueprint as fact and begins the work of reshaping behavior, perception, and even the opportunities that appear in your path. Some traditions suggest 40 minutes of focused listening or meditation before bed, and science offers support. Brainwave studies show that around half an hour to 40 minutes is long enough for entrainment, for the mind to shift into the rhythms that deepen impression. But here's the deeper truth. Consistency matters more than clock time. 5 minutes every night, faithfully practiced, can change more than a scattered hour once a month. So tonight, before you drift into sleep, resist the urge to scroll, to worry, to rehearse tomorrow's problems. Instead, step into the laboratory of your imagination. Fill your mind with images of the life you're choosing. Plant words of power into the silence of your subconscious. And let gratitude be the last vibration you carry into the dark. Because when the morning comes, if you won't just wake up, you'll rise into a reality already reshaped by the prayers you felt, the visions you planted, and the affirmations you whispered into the most receptive part of your being. That's the quiet magic of the night ritual. Serenity in the moment, transformation in the days to come. As we close, remember this. The power you seek is not hiding somewhere out in the world. It's humming inside your vibration, shaping reality in every moment. The universe isn't waiting for more effort, more struggle, or more words. It's waiting for alignment. And now, it's not just about you. When thousands of us declare the same truth, when voices rise together, a field of resonance is born. That's why I invite you, right here, to type the words that carry this secret. My vibration builds my reality. Don't just think it, declare it. Join the chorus of souls rewriting their lives from the inside out. If this message spoke to you, share it. Let it ripple outward. Subscribe so you never miss the next initiation, the next unveiling of wisdom that has been waiting for you. Because this isn't the end, it's the threshold of another chapter. The journey continues, and each step brings you deeper into the mystery, closer to the truth that you are not just part of reality, you are its creator,